Got a question about Caris LeVert, which I think should be a fun one. So why will Caris LeVert be different from Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Oh, well, this one's an easy one just
Yeah.
because Caris LeVert will not be playing Tim Hardaway Jr.'s role on this team by any stretch of the imagination. Um, Caris LeVert will essentially be coming in to be, like I said earlier, like the Dennis Schroeder replacement, where he's going to be ideally your backup point guard. He's going to control the offense off the bench. He's going to be that kind of two-way guard where I think he has this on Schroeder a little bit, where he's a better defender, where he'll be guarding uh, your other team's perimeter players with respectability. Like it's
Mhm.
not like he's just getting blown by. So he's a respectable defender. Uh, Decent enough offensive player. He can be fun in spurts sometimes, a little too fun for his liking sometimes. Um, but that's neither here nor there. I think Karras will be a good addition to this team. I think the best question for this is, will he be different from Dennis Schroeder? Because Dennis Schroeder, I mean, this is something that I feel like we didn't really talk about enough. He won them a playoff game, right? Like he won the
Yeah.
Pistons their first playoff game in what, like almost 20 years. And he was a big part of them even getting, to that series in the first place. We took it for granted because a lot of it was quiet, but and it was just, he was the calming presence off the bench. There'd be days where Cade has a slow start, and then Dennis comes in and kind of stabilizes the offense, or he'll come in and play next to Cade, or he'll come in and get a clutch 3-pointer shot. Like, the biggest thing with Dennis, and this is something that I'm really interested in seeing who fills this role, is sometimes he was the closer on this team. Like for
Yeah.
years, we talked about who the closer on the Pistons would be, and no one would ever guess it, but Dennis Schroeder was the closer on the playoff 2024-25 Detroit Pistons. I would have never guessed it, but he was, and he won them playoff games. He won them regular season games. Sure, he was not putting up like 20, 30 a night, but he was impactful when it mattered most. And you can even see that this past summer with Germany. Like, he is a clutch player. I don't know who's going to fill that role on the Pistons. I mean, obviously, Cade Cunningham, right? Like, you would look for him to be the closer, but there's going to be nights where Cade's getting blitzed, at the end of the game. Like, let's say game's on the line. You got 50 seconds left in the game and you're down by 5. Who's going to hit that 3 that you need to get it to 2? I don't know right now. Like, obviously Duncan Robinson is there, but who's going to make a play for themselves that kind of is able to close games? I don't know right now. Jaden Ivey had the game winner against Toronto that was very good, but he hasn't shown to be the Sacramento one. Of course, I'm sure someone will mention that in the comments. But you don't know, right? Like there is
Yeah.
less. There's less certainty around this team, and there's less certainty about that specifically that I'm specifically curious about.
Yeah, it's interesting, and like I know during the summer when we were doing podcasts that way, I had mentioned that I think they still needed a backup point guard. And obviously you have Jaden Ivey, you have Caris LeVert, who you signed, who, Trajan had mentioned that they would split time there. But I honestly think you're right. Like if it's a close game and Cade's getting doubled and he's getting blitzed, who's going to step up to be that, that closer or that number 2 option? And to your point, Dennis Schroeder was huge in the playoffs. Like it looked like FIBA. Like this past summer, a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
like he came in, he was hitting clutch shots. Pesky ass defender. Like he's not that tall. He's about my height. Which I'm only about like 6'1", but like he's just taking on the challenge of just being that pest. And obviously, like he said, he wanted to come back to Detroit, but Detroit wasn't willing to pay him what Sacramento was, and more power to him to be the starting point guard for the Sacramento Kings. But to your point, like I think Caris will be good. I just don't know how much different he would, what the difference would be with him versus a Dennis. Only reason why I put Tim in there is because he's a shooting guard, like naturally.
Yeah.
But maybe I should have done like Duncan and Tim instead of Caris and Tim.
No, I mean, it's a fair question because a lot of people, even around the league, like media wise, kind of compared Karis to Tim this offseason, saying like he was going to replace Tim Hardaway Jr. And I was like, I just don't see that because by all accounts, like Caris LeVert will be the backup point guard for this team. Like, like looking at roles, like if anything, Tim Hardaway Jr. doesn't really have a replace. If he does, maybe it's Javante. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't really have a replacement on this team. Malik does for now. We'll see if he resigns. By the way, that greatly improves my opinion of this team. Without, because then you're going all in on shooting, regardless. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Caris as a signing because I like him as a player. I don't know if I love his fit on the team. I feel like you probably Dennis Schroeder's contract isn't that far off from. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how he fits on the team. I'm sure it'll be pretty seamless and it'll be fine, and all this discourse will ultimately mean nothing. But I just feel like it's a bit of a question mark. He's not the greatest shooter, and I know he's played the point guard pretty decently, but like not exactly what he's known for. But again, he's a JB guy, so I'm sure this will work out.
I thought they signed because I kind of had this opinion the more I thought about it. I thought they signed Caris for more of Jaden Ivey's benefit than anything else. That way, like you don't have to, you don't really have to have Jaden play backup point guard with the second unit. I'd like to assume both of those guys are out there. Maybe Jaden Ivey has the ability to play more off ball. If you want, or maybe you're not relying on Jaden Ivey to, kind of stagnate with starting with Cade Cunningham and then coming off the bench. But I think for a pivot move, obviously with what happened, I thought it was really swift by the front office and the organization. But be interested to see if like he can, have a full healthy offseason, play 70 plus games and, be a plus defender, be a guy that can, share the court with Cade Cunningham, because when I watch him play, like him and Cade kind of like the same spots on the court. So it'll be interesting to see like how they play together. Like, is Cade going to be playing more off ball, or is Caris going to be playing more off ball? Like, there's so many things that I have questions to, and good thing we got some preseason games coming up, because I think that'll answer a lot of my questions.
Yeah, it should be like a good litmus test of just where this team is in terms of fit. Because I think that's like the biggest thing is like they replaced almost all of their veterans minus Tobias, with guys who are similar, but not exactly one of one, replacements. So it's going to be interesting to see how the offense works, and especially with the Jaden Ivey in the lineup, that changes a whole lot, because we never really saw, like Ivey playing with a Dennis Schroeder or like something like that. We didn't see any of that.